Good afternoon, family. I hope everybody had a great evening and a great day today. It is March 3rd, 2022. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of achieving a healthy weight. If you do enjoy my videos, make sure that you like this video. Also, subscribe to my channel. Click on that bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live. I usually go live around 4 p.m. most weekdays. If you'd like to participate in on the discussion, you can join me on those live streams, or you can join our Discord. There's a link for that down in the description below. That will be active for 1 week. If you happen to be watching this outside of the next week and you want to get into the Discord, find a newer video or comment below and I'll give you a new link. The Mata is checking in saying notification gang. There you go. Click that notification so you get alerted when I go live. Also down in the description below, there is a link to a Pinterest board. That Pinterest board is really just a great place for you guys to see the foods that we're eating on our diet. We get asked that a lot of times. So, today is day 488 of my 3-year challenge. I don't know if I had it right on my sheet or not, but it is day 488 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose over 200 pounds, almost 205 pounds, getting really close, but not quite there. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started for the day here. Oh, that's the wrong button. There we go. Now I'm ready to go. So yeah, I hope you guys had a great day. I'm going to move this and make a bunch of noise possibly. Carrie's checking in saying, hey, Carrie, I hope everything's going great for you today. So yeah, yesterday really was just kind of on cloud 9 after having such a great loss over the past week. If you didn't get a chance to check in my weigh in, go check out yesterday's live stream. I did end up having a 2.8 pound weight loss, almost 3 pounds lost in the week. So that is really awesome to have lost that weight. But for me, the biggest thing to celebrate, I guess, or yeah, the best part of the fact that I lost those 2.8 pounds was that I didn't really do any type of intentional fasting to help keep my weight in check for the weigh-in. A lot of times I'll either skip dinner on Tuesday evening or breakfast Wednesday morning, just depending on how I'm feeling, and that will affect my overall weight for Wednesday. Whereas this week it was not the case. I had eaten pretty much all my regular meals and was able to still have such a great weight loss. And really what that ends up in turn does for me is it kind of makes the next few days a lot easier. Like, because a lot of times when I get on the scale the day after my weigh-in, I'm usually a decent bit up, pound, maybe 2 pounds up the day after my weigh-in. Today I got on the scale and I'm the same weight as I was yesterday. So I'm hoping that I'm able to continue on with this trend and to just be able to eat regular and still continue to lose weight. Mata is checking in here saying that you've been waiting for me to stream because you wanted to ask the difference between completely fasting and eating very little, under 1,000 calories. Thank you. So I've lost weight both ways. And so the eating under 1,000 calories can be done for much longer than fasting can be done. But at a certain point, eating at that 1,000 calories, having, that little bit of food is going to catch up and you're going to have to say, okay, I need to start eating again. When I was eating a diet of less than 1,000 calories a day, I sustained it for, and it wasn't exactly 1,000 calories a day, but I was able to sustain it mostly because I was taking phentermine, and that was an appetite suppressant. So I was using a drug to kind of fight my body's natural desire to want to have a full stomach. And so I guess for me, the difference is that both of them are going to cause weight loss. Fasting is going to cause obviously weight loss quicker because you're not having any of those calories, but again, it's not going to be sustainable like you could potentially sustain yourself on 1,000 calories. The other thing you run into with going to a restrictive diet is that if you're not fixing your foods, you're not doing yourself any favors. So, for example, when I was on that phentermine diet or on the diet where I was taking phentermine, I was eating awful. So, my 1,000 calories that I would eat was a regular size Kit Kat bar, like just a four, not a king size, a regular Kit Kat bar, a small thing of Pringles. Then I'd pick both those things up on the way home from the gas station or at the gas station on the way home. And then when I got home, I would eat just uh, like a kielbasa or like a prepackaged sausage. And that never fixed my diet. So at the end of 9 months, my diet was built off of Kit Kats, Pringles, and processed meat. So I quit taking the medication and I just ate more of the Kit Kats, the Pringles, the processed meat. And it didn't fix what I really needed to fix, which was my diet overall. Carrie says that she feels like eating at 1,000 calories is actually much harder willpower wise than not eating, but she's kind of an all or nothing girl. Yes. The other thing about it too, and this is something that from the book The Pleasure Trap and a lot of the things I've heard Dr. Alan Goldhamer talk about, is that humans are physiologically adapted that we can fast. There's species of animals that are physiologically adapted that they don't have that physiological adaptation. So if you were to fast a chimpanzee for more than 7 days, they would die because they don't have the mechanisms within their body to switch from that glucose burning system to a keto burning system like we do, or that's my understanding of that. But I do know that he says that we are adapted to be able to fast, whereas other species of animals are not. So that would just kind of be what I would say. I think that either way, in my mentality about fasting has changed since I started this channel. And I truly believe that fasting is an incredible way to lose weight. And if you have the willpower and the ability to do an extended fast, and especially when I started, I was at 520 pounds, a very sedentary person. And so me fasting didn't really change the other parts of my life, in that I didn't have, I always complained about being tired all the time. And I always complained about, and I never did anything before. So being sedentary was easy, but now that I have lost the 200 pounds, the idea of me not doing stuff, it seems difficult. Last year, I tried doing another fast that I made it about 10 days. And the reason why I quit that fast was not because I felt the need to quit the fast. The reason why I quit that last fast was because I wanted to hang out with my kids over the weekend. And I knew that if I continued to fast, I wouldn't have the energy to do anything with them that weekend. And that idea of missing out any more than I had already been missing out on that kind of stuff, I was over it, because I feel like I fixed the food enough that things are working out well. And so for fasting, I think fasting is a great way to reset your system, to either do a short extended fast or a juice fast to get rid of the foods that you shouldn't be eating, like the Kit Kats, the Pringles, and the processed meats. That's what I found as a benefit from the fasting, is that it reset my system. It gave me a clean palate or a clear plate to start from, so that from November 1st, 2020, anything I did after that point wasn't affected by anything that I had done previously. And so I think fasts are a great way to jump off from, and they can be used to help continue to lose the weight. The downside that I see to the 1,000 calorie diet is that you really have to, it would really have to be the right 1,000 calories. And that's tough to know, what to do with that. So hopefully that answered your question there. If you do have any other questions, throw them up. I have no problem bringing questions. The topic for today though was staying on track. And every time I kind of feel like I talk about staying on track, you have to assume then that you have some goals. So a big thing is that you need to keep questioning your decisions against your goals. If your action today doesn't get you closer to your goal and takes you further away from your goal, then you have to decide if you want to do that or if that's the choice you want to make. But the big thing with the goals though too is that you shouldn't set a goal to be on a specific diet or to adhere to a strict schedule, because then those goals become dependent kind of on things outside of yourself. If you are saying that I am going to do uh, a meal program or something, then you have to continue to buy that meal program. If you're buying like the shakes, if you buy meal replacement shakes, and you're going to stay on that diet that requires you to have those meal replacement shakes, or you're going to go to a doctor and they're going to give you a prescription for phentermine, then the success of your diet is relying on outside factors that you can't always control. Like if you, let's say part of your diet is that you're going to go to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then something comes up that you can't go to the gym on Wednesday. Are you going to make up for that by going to the gym either the day before when you can't go Wednesday, or go the day after? And then if you go Thursday, then you're going to be going Thursday and Friday in a row, so you find excuses to get out of those types of diets or those types of programs or plans. Oh, I couldn't get that shake anymore, I didn't have access, or I was traveling and I didn't have access to that type of stuff. And so for me, the big things is that you should, if you're going to set goals, the goals should be like a weight goal. Not, I'm going to do keto until I lose 200 pounds. I didn't, when I started this, I knew I was going to start with a fast, but I didn't intend for fasting to be what got me to lose every pound. I intended to eat a keto diet after this, and so if I would have been married to that diet and then I finished the fast and did that diet and then didn't have success, I might not be talking to you today. But I wasn't married to any particular thing. And if this was showing signs of not working well, I would be looking in other directions. So, set a goal of a weight to lose or a weight to get to. And then maybe if you want to set another goal, that for me, the time goal. Take a look at your past and all these diets you've done in the past and any success you've had with those diets, and realize that all of those diets quit being successful because you quit paying attention to losing weight. You fell off of the wagon, or you quit paying attention to your weight. So setting a goal for a time then kind of gives you more flexibility, So I set my goal to do this for 3 years. So whatever I got to do inside that 3 years to lose the weight, I'm going to do. But that wasn't, time passes. I don't have any control over that. So it's not dependent on an outside factor. The one thing that you do have to do though, is you can't procrastinate your time away. You can't say, I'm going to lose 300 pounds in 3 years, and then for the first 2 years, don't lose any weight, and then think for the last year that you're going to lose it all. You have to stay committed, for it's a time commitment, not a get to my goal by this time kind of thing. The other things about, staying on track is removing the temptations from your life. don't have the stuff that's in, don't have the junk food in your cupboards. The saying that has been said before, if it's in your house, it's in your mouth, you're going to eat it. Uh, and if you live with others, see if they'll put the food somewhere else or put your food somewhere else. Just try to remove the temptations from your life as best as possible. You have to keep yourself accountable. That's a big thing. Accountability is tough because when it's hard to hold yourself accountable, you're only going to be so hard on yourself. And, if you get too hard on yourself, then you're going to get into some different things. I just realized that I don't have any of my lights on. So, I hope the quality's okay. So yeah, you keep yourself accountable. If you gotta, tell your spouse you're wanting to do something, tell your partner, your roommate, your mom, your dad, whoever you need to tell to kind of get that ball rolling. Tell them, they'll encourage you, they'll be helpful for a certain amount of time. Many of them will be helpful throughout your whole process, but some of them, their help may be more at the beginning or more at the end, or it may kind of vary throughout the whole process. Um, but so you can't rely on them to be your rock to hold you accountable necessarily, but just letting them know, putting it out there into the universe that you want to lose weight. Just look up into the sky and just scream, I want to lose weight. Let the world know. The other ways you can do that to hold yourself accountable is to join us a support group. You can get on our Discord and tell us what you're wanting to do. Find other platforms to find, the Reddit has a super morbidly obese that I've been on a lot to look at things. You can find places online to post your story or your goals or your hopes, and that will create a little bit of accountability. Something that you can do that's really not super difficult is you can start a social media like page on Facebook or an Instagram profile, or even do what I did and create like a YouTube channel. But, something as simple as going in, creating an Instagram profile, and then just posting photos of the food you're eating on that profile, just so that you can go back and be like, hey, this is everything I ate yesterday. And if nobody's following you, then it's not like you're not embarrassing yourself in front of anybody. And if people start seeing your photos and then they start following you, then maybe they might start asking, why is this person posting photos of these foods? And then, maybe that helps create an accountability platform for yourself. Another place where you can find some accountability, I feel like, is checking the scale. A lot of times people want to avoid the scale. I didn't touch a scale for years. I can remember March 15th, 2020. I was at a hospital taking my daughter for an eye appointment. And as we were leaving the appointment, I saw a bariatric scale and I was like, hey, I should check out and see what I weigh. Or I saw a scale that I could tell was a large scale that was going to be able to weigh me. And there was nobody in the hallway. So I kind of snuck over and weighed in on the scale. And that was the first time I ever saw I was over 500 pounds. But I was never a thought in my head that I had made it to 500 pounds until it was a reality. And I stepped on the scale and I actually saw what I weighed. There's so many people out there right now that are grossly overweight, that know they need to do something, that have zero idea of how much they weigh, like off by like 50 pounds if you ask them. Like, and it just seems crazy that you could be that far off on what your weight is, for like, especially somebody who weighs 180 or 200 pounds, they wouldn't guess they were 50 pounds off. But me at 515, absolutely, I would have probably guessed that I was 465 pounds. I had no real scale to tell. Like and so um we avoid that scale. We it's like a monster that we don't want to, the scale is lava. You don't want to touch your feet because your feet are going to burn off. Um, but you need to get on the scale and you need to weigh more often than you want to or you think you need to. I've used the example before, kind of similar to a bank account. If you were trying to grow wealth, if your goal was to take the money in your bank account and make it larger, then you would be checking your account all of the time to make sure that it's going in the right direction. Losing weight's the same way. If your goal is to lose weight, then you need to check that account every day to make sure it's going in the right direction. Because if you skip a couple days and then you get on the scale and you go from 310 and a month later you're 325, you spent that whole month slowly making the wrong decisions. Maybe you made all of those wrong decisions at the beginning of the month. And if you'd have known that, you'd have corrected the problem on day 7. And then the rest of the month, you would have been able to lose that weight. Or maybe it was all loaded up on the end, but at the same time, if you've been weighing in regular, you would know and you'd be able to say, well, this is what I changed in the past week that caused me this weight gain. Whereas if you don't weigh in for a month, you're sitting there going, what did I do this past month? I've been really good this week. Like I knew I was going to weigh in today and I've been really good this week. But the problem was it was on day 3 and day 5 and day 7 that you were eating the junk, that you didn't check your weight, that you just let it be. And then you forget it. We have kind of this forgetfulness of what we ate. Like if I were to tell you to write down everything you ate yesterday, you would not remember everything that you ate. You would remember most things you ate, but there's things that you just grab and snack on and things like that. So you have to be a little bit more mindful about your eating too. Um, and then, I talk about at the end of the stream, and I'll bring it up again at the end of this stream too, is that there's the myth of moderations. And one of those myths is the myth of moderate consumption. And one of the ways I explain it at the end of the stream is that you aren't going to be able to reduce the amount of food that you eat for a long time. Sort of like the Mata was asking about the 1,000 calories. We like to think that, yeah, I wish I could eat for 1,000 calories till I get my goal weight, but it's not. It's your body just starts screaming at you at a certain point, and you really want to. You end up binging or gorging yourself to make up for the fact that you've been at a calorie deficit for such a long time. But the other side of that myth of moderate consumption, that you can eat a moderate amount of food and then you'll slowly lose, you'll slowly be able to um, lose the weight, is that also that there's this myth with that moderate consumption that if you consume something in moderation, it's not dangerous. And it's not true. Like it would be like a cigarette smoker smoking 1 cigarette a day versus a pack a day. Sure, they're not going to have the effects from smoking hit them as quick as a pack a day smoker. But over the course of a lifetime, that single cigarette could add up to being a problem. So if you allow yourself to eat a small or a moderate amount of processed meat, let's say, then that means you are allowing yourself to, you're exposing yourself to a moderate amount of a carcinogen, because processed meat has been classified as a carcinogen. So the myth of moderate consumption, the myth that you can eat a little bit of something and it won't be bad for you, isn't really true all the time. It may be true in some cases, like having a little bit of avocado might not hurt you, but having a little bit of heroin, not going to be as, the same. So the big things though for staying on track is, set those goals that are not dependent on another factor other than you and the passing of time, I guess. The goals, like I said, should be to get to a healthy weight by a certain time, and the a healthy goal weight should be the other goal. You got to remove the temptations from your life. Continue to educate yourself. Keep learning. As you do more research, it'll strengthen your resolve to stay on your current path or the current kind of um, diet plan that you're on. That has been huge for me, is to continue the education, um, and keep yourself accountable, guys. You got to find the ways. You got to find that accountability. I know it's tough. It's probably one of the toughest parts about this, is to continue to tell yourself that you need to do this and to keep that resolve to doing it. And um, by finding, that's where you need to find the outside sources, is the accountability. Like, that's where you need, maybe to have that person cheering you on or rooting for you, or that person looking at you going, you really need to eat the kids' leftover dinner. And so it's just that kind of, that kind of accountability, I think, is important to have in your life. So if you guys have any suggestions for what you do to stay on track or to find the right path, throw them down in the description below. I would love to hear that from you guys. I am going to get out of here now, guys. I couldn't be more distracted by the fact that I don't have my lights on. So I think the video is fine. I'm not worried about it, but it's that time for me to get out of here. Anyways, if you're still here, down in the comments below, right, don't forget to turn on the lights, so I know you watched it all the way through. How does that sound? So thanks, guys, for following along with everything I've been doing so far. Thanks for watching today's video. If you haven't started your diet yet, why not? Get started right now, guys. There's no reason to wait. Nobody ever gets to the end and says, man, I wish I would have waited. I wish I would have had birthday cake at my kid's party that weekend. No, everybody says, I wish I would have started sooner. Why did I wait so long to get started? I was so dumb. So get started right now, guys. Don't wait. Don't fall for those myths of moderation, the myth of moderate consumption. I already went through that a bunch, but the myth of moderate consumption is that I guess it's two parts. I got to figure out a way to explain the two parts of it. That not only are you going to eat less, or I can consume in moderation, but the idea that consuming anything in moderation can be healthy. Those are two, that's the myth of moderate consumption. The myth of moderate change is that you're slowly going to transition over to a healthier lifestyle by introducing small healthy things at a slow pace. If your goal is to just do those healthy things in the end, then why delay the switch? Get started right now. Don't fall for the myths of moderation. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Carrie. I will try to remember to turn on the lights.